Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Rapha'Yah. We are going to go ahead and start this amazing book of Exodus, Shemot. And it just happened that the first Torah portion is called Shemot, which is names. I know Shemot, they given the regular name of Exodus, and it just is right. I mean, it's just the Exodus of our forefathers from Egypt. But we have to understand that the actual word is Shemot, which means names. And it just happened that the very beginning of this Torah portion begins with names. So let's jump in. But right before that, you haven't subscribed, please do so you can get the latest production. Remember that we are continuously in production of a lot of things, videos, teachings, and lately we are getting to a lot of music. By the way, the first album just already out on many platforms. That is Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music, many more. And also, that's in the first one is in Spanish. The second is all in Hebrew. Same thing, all platforms. And there is an English also album that is coming out in July the 1st. So it's very, a lot of things coming up, a lot of productions. Once again, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you want to give a TZEDAKAH or charity, a donation to us, will be greatly appreciated. The link is right below at the very end, and to help us out on this channel so it can grow more and more. Let's jump into it. So in this Torah portion, the Creator starts with this amazing Torah portion, which I believe this is one of the most important Torah portions that we can actually have. And we are going to find out what is the reason why the Creator always wants us to have an idea what is going on with the creation indeed. But let's jump into right away. Look what it says here. This is chapter 1, verse 1, of course, to chapter 6, verse 1. This is number 13 of the Torah portions. These are the names. These are the Shemot of the sons of Israel who went to Egypt with Yaakov, their father, each man with his family. And it just happened that the next verse says very clear that there were 75 souls, but among those 75 souls, there were people that were not included there, some because they were dead, and even if they were dead, they would not be included. And the reason for it is because that lineage, that descendants, it was not from Shem, that was from the Canaanites. Remember that the sons of Judah who were weak and they died. They would not be counted for. And that is the reason for it. Now let's jump into a little bit more, and let's recap a little bit how many years our forefathers were in the land of Egypt, and also in the land of Canaan. And we have the popular mentality, as a popular belief, that the sons of Israel, our forefathers, were in Egypt for 430 years. That's not true. Scriptures are very clear, and I will show you in a minute, that the entire belief that our forefathers were in Egypt for 430 years is entirely unbased. There's no basis whatsoever. But let's jump in. Abraham was called when he was 70 years. In the 70 years, we see that some of these things are very crucial. And from that moment on, 5 years later, we know that Abraham went out. Our father Abraham went out of Haran. 5 years later. 25 years later, Yitzhak is born. He was 100. 60 years later, after Yitzhak was born, Yaakov was born. 130 years later, Yaakov enters into Mizraim, to Egypt, and this is where this Torah portion is almost taken out. This gives us the sum of 220 years in Canaan, in the land of Canaan. 220 years. What happened to the other half? Just jump into it. Yosef died in the year 280. Moses, in the 430 years, okay, is where he does the Pesach. That's where the 15th of Abib, he went out of Egypt. Now let's jump into the 210 years that there were from the moment that Yaakov, Israel, enters into Mizraim, Egypt. The 210 years began. The other 220 already fulfilled, but the other 210 begins from the moment that Yaakov enters into Egypt. The total of 430 years. And let's start with the generations. The first generation, remember that the Torah says in the fourth generation, well, the first generation starts with Yitzhak when he is born. The second generation starts with Yaakov when he enters into Egypt. The third generation is Yosef. And the fourth generation is with Moshe. Very, very important, all these four generations. The sum from the moment that Yitzhak is born is 430 years. If we buck up 30 years is where Abraham is called. Let's jump into a different topic, move into a different year. The word for yayin is when the wine enters, the secrets come out. And it's very true. Let's jump into what I'm bringing in this morning. 49 verse 10 of Genesis, a ruler shall not fail from Judah, nor a prince from his loins, until he comes from whom it is reserved, Shiloh, and he is the expectations of all the nations. The reason why I'm bringing this is because this happens to be the previous Parashat Vayechi, and he lived. We see that our Mashiach comes from the loins of Judah. Shiloh, he came in the fourth millennium, which is the first century. When he took over the scepter and took the scepter from Judah, we know for sure that our Mashiach has a scepter that has authority. Let me bring this to you. Jeremiah 31:9. For I am father to Israel, and look what it says next, and Ephraim is my firstborn. And the reason why I bring this up is for us to realize as the northern kingdom, Ephraim, is that we are the firstborn. For the entire time we tend to think that our Jewish brothers are the firstborn. They're not. Scriptures are very clear. The previous Parashat, Vayechi, I explained very well that when Yosef was almost almost stopping his father Israel to cross his hands and give the first blessing to Ephraim and instead of Menashe, Yaakov almost stopped him, but Yaakov, Israel, knew what he was doing because as the scriptures stated very well, the last will be first and the first will be last. And exactly what's going on nowadays. Ephraim is the firstborn. We have the firstborn right. We have the double portion. We have the double chutmah, the double understanding. We have the double blessing. And no one can take it from us except for us. Yahweh has given us this right as the firstborn. Mashiach has the scepter, has the authority of this. Look at what it says, 49 verse 11 about the donkey, trying his donkey to the wine and the colt to the donkey to his chosen grapevine. He washes his clothes in wine, his mantles in blood of grapes. It's very, very direct, this verse, because this is a direct connection to our Mashiach. Look at what it says here in the Targum Yonatan of our make version of this verse. The kings shall not cease, nor the rulers from the house of Judah, nor the scribes who teach the Torah to his descendants, until the time when the king Mashiach comes, the youngest of his sons, and because of him, the peoples will gather. Mashiach is the one gathering all the sons of Israel all around the world. Very crucial text, because this is a direct connection from us to our Mashiach. Look at what the gematria of 345 of Shiloh also is equals as Moshe. Moshe is a foreshadow, or I should say Mashiach is a foreshadow of Moshe. And Moshe is a foreshadow of Mashiach. Exactly right, because the scriptures are very clear when he talks about in the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy 18:18, where it says, a prophet among your brothers I shall bring. Which prophet? Mashiach, Yahushua. So it is very crucial for us to understand that just as Moshe did things, Mashiach will be doing the same thing. Look at what it says here, talking about the colt and the wine. Revelation 19, verse 13, and I was wearing a tunic that had been soaked in blood. This person, this individual, happens to be Yahushua, our Mashiach. So you won't think I'm making this up. Let's look into Isaiah 63, verse 1. Who is coming from Edom? From Bozrah with garments stained red, so splendid dress, so majestic in his great power. I am who speaks in righteousness, in TZEDAKAH, mighty to save. Why is your attire red, your clothes like one who treads the white grass? Who is this person? Happens to be our Mashiach. A lot of people tend to think that our Mashiach will come from Jerusalem. That's not the case. Our Mashiach will come from Edom. Why? Because Edom is the Christianity. Our Mashiach is being sold for 2,000 years. It's been sold for 30 pieces of coin. Remember who was sold for 30 pieces? And remember what the Pharisees used those 30 pieces? They bought the land of the potter man. The potter man happens to be that place of the going of the nations. Our Mashiach was bought for 30 pieces for the nations. And he's been there for a long time, for 32,000 years. It is our responsibility to get them out. And we are doing so. Let's go back, 49 verse 11, trying his donkey in the wine in the fall of the donkey to chosen grape wine. And the reason why I bring this verse back is to show you the next verse. But first, let's jump into the donkey first. What is the donkey connection with the wine? Let's connect first. Shimshon or Samson was fought the battles of Yahweh for redemption in a donkey's jawbone. Jesse, the father of David, sent his son in a donkey with food to his brothers. Abraham rose early in the morning to saddle his donkey to do the akedah, the offering, the tithe, the bondage to Yitzhak, to offer to Yahweh. Moshe took his wife and children, put them on the donkey, and returned to Egypt. And finally, Mashiach, our Savior, remember that he rode on the donkey. He's the one who was on the donkey. And it is amazing to understand this concept that our Mashiach is the one who excels above everyone. He's the one who rode on the donkey, and the donkey is the same as the word for donkey is chamor. Chamor is also the same root of chomer. Chomer is matter. Remember when in this Torah portion, Pharaoh says and gives a rule, a command to double, to triple the workload for all our fathers, the Israelites. And he says the matter, the break and everything, he doubled it. That matter is us. That matter, that earthly matter, the dust, is all of us. And the chomer is our physical matter, our natural matter, our wild matter. We come from the world. We come with no rules. And we have rules. We have to make our own rules. But when we come to Yahweh, we have to abide by His Torah, His directions. And no wonder why Mashiach rode on the donkey, on the matter. And that's why He said, do not fear, because I have conquered the world. I have conquered the matter. I have conquered what seems that it cannot be conquered. And later, Shaul says that we also can conquer the matter. We can conquer ourselves. It is very, very crucial what the donkey means. And our donkey is ourselves. What is the some of the characteristics of the donkey? They're very, very stubborn. They can carry a heavy load, but they're very stubborn. We are and have been and will be being so stubborn about many things about our Creator. It is time to bend our knee. It is time for our Mashiach to right us. Look what it says here. You shall redeem every firstborn of a donkey with a lamb. You will not redeem it. You should break its neck. And every firstborn of a man among your sons you shall redeem. The donkey has to be redeemed by a lamb. That lamb happens to be our Mashiach. We have to be redeemed by our Mashiach. If we don't do so, it is time for break our neck. It is time for us to say goodbye to this world. If our Mashiach is not the redeemer of our lives, remember we are the donkey, we are the stubborn ones, then there is no escape. There is no remedy. John 2 verse 1, I'm going to give you a very example of the wine connected with the donkey. But let's look into the wine. On the third day of the week, there was a wedding on Cafnet in the city of Galilee, and Yeshua's mother was there. The reason why I bring this event is because there was a wedding there, a wedding that took place on the third day. Why the third day? Well, it wasn't on the first day, which is a Sunday, right? Why wasn't it on the third day? Very, very strange. It was almost in the middle of the week. It was like a Tuesday. It is amazing because we have to understand why the Creator says all these nuances, and we have to find out why. But look at what it says here, verse 6. And there were 6 stone jars placed there, following the order of the purification of the Yahudim, each with the capacity of 120 liters of water. It is amazing because all these are concepts that are secrets for us to unlock. These 6 stones are 6 millenniums. These 120 liters are connected to it. There are 120 jubilees. Every jubilee is 50 years, right? If you multiply 50 for 120, it gives us the sum of 6,000 years. Those are the 6,000 millenniums of mankind. And this is what is being placed for us to live the length of time until Mashiach returns. Those 120 jubilees, we happens to be living in the last jubilee, the last jubilee, the last 50 years. We tend to think that we are going to last another 100, 150, 200, 300 years. That's not the case. We are in the last 50, the last one. And we are very, very short in time. But we tend to think that we have a lot of time, and we don't. Yahweh said to them, in the third day, do this and you will live. Another verse that gives us the thinking of the third day you should live. The Hebrew for the word wine is yayin, and the word for secret in Hebrew is sod. Have the same gematria of 70. You see that? So all this is very, very important to write it down so we understand what we're dealing with in the Torah. Let me give you the example of the wine. What it was, it will be again exactly right? Exodus or Shemot 7:19. There shall be blood throughout the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. That's what the scripture says. But let's look into what that means. All the land of Egypt was covered with blood. Anywhere that was liquid, it turned into blood. That wine, that blood, will see something very crucial there, because once again, Mashiach allures to these things. 19 verse 19, look at what it says here. And Yahweh said to Moshe, tell Aharon, take your staff, stain your hand over the waters of Mizraim, Egypt, over the rivers, canals, lagoons, and all over the Mikpech Mayim, which means gatherings of waters, so that they may turn into blood. There will be blood throughout the land of Mizraim, both wood and stone. The word is etzin abanin. Etzin abanin is the first one is wood, and the second is stone. But what is this means of etzin abanin? There's more to it in what we've seen, because usually the translations, either Spanish or English or any other language, are very limited. But when you go into the original, the Hebrew tells a different story. Chapter 7 verse 19, there will be blood all over the land of Egypt, so in the woods and the stone. What does it mean by that? Well, let me show you. The etzin abanin happens to be not just the vessels or the wood, but happens to be also their idols, their statues. Everything that they worship, they will bleed blood. For Yahweh to show the power that will be on these demons, these stones, these statues, Yahweh was going to show them who is in charge. All these statues that they worship, they will bleed blood. And it wasn't just the rivers and the lagoons. It was also their idols too as well. So once again, this is the power of Yahweh all over Egypt. No wonder why they were afraid. No wonder why they were the fear to the max. Look at what it says, the same wording in 4:28 of the Barim or Deuteronomy. They shall serve Elohim, demons, idols, gods that are the product of human hands, made of, you see that? Etzin, wood, and abanin, stone, which cannot see, speak, eat, or smell. You see that? It's another example of the word etzin, abanin. Very, very important. Now let's continue. Isaiah 46 verse 10. In the beginning I announce the end. I proclaim in advance things that cannot be made. And I say my plan will stand, and I do what I please. Yahweh is the king of the universe. Yahweh is the one who has the power of everything that we can think of. He has the power over time and space, and we can do anything about it. The reason why I bring this very verse is for us to understand that since the beginning of creation, Yahweh is the creator of everything, and everything is already penned out. 1948, Abraham was born, and that was before the Common Era. 2000 BC, he received the Torah when he was 52 years old. 2047, he did the Brit Milah, which is the circumcision. He was 99. In 2048 BC, Jugs was born, and he was 100. All this is very important because on the third day, 22 of Genesis, verse 4, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from a distance. Remember that he was going to do the Akedah, the offering, the binding of Yitzhak, on the third day. And remember, let me just pause here just for a few seconds. Abraham, just as well as Jacob, as well as Yitzhak, they were prophets. They had the capability to see the future. They saw the future. They saw the Beit HaMikdash. He saw the Beit HaMikdash, just as well as Moshe. He saw on the third day the place in the distance, which is Mount Moreh, the future temple, and he saw it there. Do you believe that? It is unreal. Later, a little more in advance, Exodus 19 verse 1, they arrive, all the children of Israel, on the third month. But look at what has happened, verse 11. Yahweh says, prepare for the third day, because on the third day I will descend before the eyes of all people on Mount Sinai. The question is, why in the third day? Why in the third day? Look at what it says here. Hosea 6:2. After 2 days, he will bring us to life. On the third day, he will raise us up, and we will live in his presence. He will raise us. He will resurrect us. But there are two concepts there. After 2 days, he will bring us to life. Let's pause here for a moment. 2 days after, if we go back in Exodus 19, Yahweh says, prepare them today and tomorrow. 2 days. There are 2 days of preparation. 2 days of preparation. Since the Mashiach came in the first century, there have been 2 days of preparation for us. We are in the second day right now. The first already passed. The second, we are on the second day, and the third is coming up. Since 1948, a lot of reviving has happened. 1998, the beginning of the prophecy of the Northern Kingdom, even more so. The gathering of the house of Israel, the Northern Kingdom, has exploded, has blown all around the world. And now we can bring this to you. Ezekiel 37:6. I will bind bonds to you. I will cause flesh to grow in you. I will cover you with skin, and I will put breath, my ruach, in you, and you will live. And you will know that I am Yahweh. Our Creator is making this happen nowadays. Verse 8, and as I looked, seeth grew on them, flesh appeared, and skin covered them. But there was no breath in them. And then he said to me, prophesy to the breath, to the ruach, prophecy, son of man. Said to the bones of Yahweh, Yahweh Almighty, says, come from the four winds, breath, ruach, and blow upon these dead men so that they might live. Exactly what's going on today. Exactly that. No one can stop us because Yahweh has given us the ruach, the breath of life, for us to understand his will. It is very crucial for us to understand this concept. It is very crucial for us to understand that there is no time to waste. We are living very, very, very near. And let me show you real quick. Look at what Mashiach says. We're almost closing. John 3, verse 8. The wind blows whenever it wants, and you hear his sounds, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with anyone who has been born of the Spirit. That's what the Creator is doing. Our Creator is raising us up by Ruach. Doesn't matter where we come from. We come from four winds of the earth. For all the nations, we are coming from to Yahweh because He wants Torah. We want to be instructed by His Torah, His instruction, His direction to us to make us better in every single day. Now let's recap with this. We see that since the beginning of the fourth millennium, the first coming, our Mashiach says very clear, and our scriptures very clear and after all this, the first day began in the 5th millennium. The second is the 6th millennium, which we are living in the very, very end. And the third happens to be, you see where it says, the scripture says that in 2 days He will give us breath, right, to live. And the third day He will raise us up. That means right now we are living, but we might die, or we still alive, and then our Creator either transform us or resurrect us. Very, very clear. Remember what Shaul says, that in the sound of the shofar, of the trumpet, their dead will rise. See that? That will happen on the 7th millennium, on the third day. And that will come very, very soon. Look what it says, 19 verse 10. So Yahweh said to, this is Exodus, Yahweh said to Moshe, go to the people today and tomorrow and set them apart by having them wash their clothes. We have 2 millenniums to be prepared. We are living in the last millennium before Mashiach comes, before the third day. 5th millennium and the 6th millennium, and the Shabbat is coming up. The third day is coming. All this, it is very, very crucial for us to understand at the very end of what we're living right now. I'm Moreh Rapha'Yah. We'll see you next time. If you haven't subscribed, please do so you can get the latest of what we are doing in this very, very present. Shabbat Shalom, guys. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. We'll begin.
Toda Rabba. If you like this video, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. There's more content in production. Thank you.